In this episode on YC Test Drive, we pull out of sail with the Toyota Prado. The Toyota 4.5 seems to be bulldozing. The Prado's capability and ability is tested over and over again. Situation gets critical as the two cars are stuck far apart.
Has grass all over it. It is now stopping the car from moving smoothly.
Just in case you missed the first episode, click the pop-up banner above. As we contemplate the way forward, we realize that the 4.5 won't be able to pull the Prado, it might get stuck. So we hook the winch on a mopane tree. And here the Prado needs to redeem itself.
Control. Yeah, so... Okay, let's see what we can do. Let's see if that tree is strong enough.
The naturally aspirated 4-liter V6 engine on a Toyota Prado roars like a lion. This machine, this beast, makes the sand boil like water. The sand is very soft and fine. With the winch at work, everyone else is a spectator. This machine seems to be pulled out with ease. The trailer is proving to be very heavy, but the Prado with its winch makes life easier. After unhooking the winch from a tree, the 4-liter V6 Toyota Prado still shows momentum. With crawl control engaged, all four-wheel kicks at the same time, making this beast crawl easily and slowly out of sand. The power in this monster is good to watch. As we crawl out of sand, it was an exciting moment.
So exciting. This is just the beginning actually.
So follow me as we continue this tough journey going home. And my grandfather says, the sound you hear is my grandfather's phone, and I ask him. I asked him once again who was texting him and listen to what he has to say.
Sokolo. You got to me messages out there like for him get take the thing that.
My WhatsApp ina magugu mwende na 56 twali suru ya zanabo njiba kweta ina kasikani kawane chikini 300.
If there's any place similar to this environment, let me know in the comment below.
If you meet elephants here, what in the Ape jozo kari ndio huta.
As we continue going deeper and deeper in the floodplain area, this kind of environment, these kinds of roads, this kind of vegetation is quite different. I've traveled around Namibia, but this is quite unique.
We have pigs.
This type of livestock farming is very common in my area where I come from.
You see cattle.
Some cattle here. But they are quite skinny though.
It was when
they're in the highlands. That's why they got so skinny.
But now they are going to be good within a year. For when you get 10 or the moon. But now they are with grass. They will be grazing here afternoon. Look how fake it is.
We had different stories and topics to chat about, but one of my favorite is this one. My grandmother asks for her ration.
The ration coming. The ration is coming.
We came to find out Grandpa ate Grandma's ration.
You were more for fans. Coco now, ration. Coco now, ration.
It gets interesting as Grandpa reveals he had Grandma's ration in the pocket.
Oh, he's taking a
Grandpa explained why he had the ration in the pocket.
impokoto irasheni ina muipepa ya teni kuti ateni kubike plastic ndikubike plastic ya teni ndikubike plastic muziva udiro ni dzimwe chikunyomedza mumpokoto ape awo afosa ere mpaye
ipola hasukulu
bane kantiro kuchina menzi bati hampa akatadzanga hampa akatadzanga kuya sikora mune bulera kuri akusana mezi.
Grandpa changes from Lozi to Subia and he speaks two languages at the same time. And he never forgets to remind me too.
Huta. The river is just very close. Those trees there is on the Zambian side. Those trees there just after those other trees there, that's Zambia.
And Grandpa is not pleased to hear that the 4.5 just stopped. Grandma complains on how merciless Grandpa is with the 4.5. Grandpa defends himself as everyone else is against him. He insists that this is not the first time he owns a car, and one should not blame him. He knows what he is doing. The funniest of them all in the car is my grandmother talking in the background. He actually makes Grandpa laugh even when he's not in a good mood.
Our area, this is what defines Sana.
The flood-prone
area. The roads, the way how they are, different.
I miss this kind of lush vegetation. The amounts of reeds in my area is quite different. I asked Grandpa if there were crocodiles in this river.
Don't talk. It's joined to Kasaya.
What does Kasaya mean?
Kasaya is like a river, but it's not a river, it's a channel. But it is deeper than the river.
The river.
The Zambezi River is shallow. Kasaya is very deep. Wherever you find the Kasaya, very deep. So we've got Kasaya here. You see, it goes next to that village there. This is Nankuntwe Kasaya. And then when we go, we will tell you that there is Toropo Kasaya from there. And then it goes very far away, next to Imparira. That's where
Grandpa explained the amount of river channels we have in our area.
And again, we've got another Kasaya, Kabamahunga, in Shukumansbeck. We've got another Kasaya of Smana Village in Shukumansbeck. And then it goes, there is a drift. From that drift of Kabe, we get the Kasaya of Kabe that goes up to Lusese. Then from Lusese, there is a big area that separates Kasaya and Mutua Luizi. Then from Mutua Luizi, we go to other ponds, small ones. And then we go to the main one called
He clearly
Chisambiro.
Explains on his knowledge of these rivers.
And from Chisambiro into the stream that is called Ishua. It's very strong. Then that Ishua leads water into the Chobe River. Yeah, that's how it is. That channel is long. It's very, very long and very narrow. As you can see here, you can see this is the depth of the Kasaya, and that other side is land. This side here is land.
Yeah.
Now you see this. It's what?
A narrow
a narrow thing. In fact, it's a narrow one.
Right.
You see birds here, plenty of them.
These blackbirds.
Mm.
I don't know how they are called in English though.
Black stock.
Black stock?
Yes.
The man who knows.
We have been driving for hours
Yeah,
and we
this
keep
is
on
an
going in the
Algonquin
eastern direction. The sand is becoming softer and more wet as it's covered by this long grass preventing it from drying. At times he made the horn sound whenever I forgot.
So my grandfather insists that I must be hooting every time I get on a cave. Like here. Have you ever had an experience at a close range?
With what?
Like almost bumping a car because you didn't hoot?
Very near. Ask Shadu, he knows. We wanted to get into somebody just next to Shukmansbeck there. Very fortunate. And he was very scared because remember he said, let's go. I will show you where to pass.
This seems like Grandpa didn't anticipate the amount of water that we just found. Grandma wants to make sure the car is engaged in four-wheel drive. This is still quite easy for a Toyota Prado, so is the 4.5 Land Cruiser. This meandering road keeps me awake, knowing that I drove 1,200 kilometers throughout the night, and I'm still going and still going. Grandpa for sure is the navigator. He's just pointing places and directions where we must go. Everywhere else is quite soaked with water. The grass makes it quite slippery. Some places for law needed to be engaged. Grandpa's phone rings loud once again. It's always funny to hear Grandpa and Grandma going at each other at times. This 4.5-liter 6-cylinder inline engine still whistles with power as we took a short break.
We still have a long way. We're actually still going to have fun. You can already see, just from the start already, the muddy terrains and so forth. So this trailer is actually made for this kind of...
As we go further into the east, deeper into the floodplain areas, the trip still seems to be smooth so far. This time of the year, it's not easy going to my area, as things will get more and more tougher.
So Grandpa, you said everyone else seems like they are making a turn, they do not go this far yet.
Yes, there's a lot of water this side. They are afraid of getting stuck.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's see, we want
We are
to find
going
the
to be
path.
the pioneers. this
Yes,
year.
the pathfinders, as we said. We will find the will be the first one to go there after the floods. So let's see how it is.
We are all excited and eager to see the challenge that are still to come as Grandpa navigates us through this wetland. We are convinced that if we reach home, everyone else will follow suit into these tough roads with their cars. It's evident that water is becoming more and more as Grandpa points where to go. For a 4.5 Land Cruiser, these are familiar territories. Grandpa, as he navigates, he never forgets these routes. He's been traveling on these roads since he was young, on foot, on sledge, on bicycles, even in cars. He is our GPS. Suddenly, the vegetation disappears as we are engulfed in these tall dry grass. Grandma becomes uncomfortable as we move close to the water.
This is Musekezi joining the Kasaya channel. So it just goes, but there are crocodiles in here. Don't even try it. If you want to be eaten alive, try it. There are crocodiles here.
From here on, the situation gets serious as we navigate through the dry patches of land. Grandpa's phone rings again. Momentum seems to be the key, as one never knows how soft the sand is under this long grass. That still didn't prevent us from getting stuck. As we discuss about the weight of the trailer and how it's pulling down the Prado, this was the time once again a winch is called to action. This is the first time a 4.5 is about to pull the Prado from the mud. The idea was to use the winch only to pull out the Prado from the mud without putting any power on the 4.5 Land Cruiser. This seems serious than we anticipated. Crawl control with the winch are once again in play, pulling out the heavy Prado with its heavy trailer. As the Prado crawls closer and closer to the 4.5 Land Cruiser, it's time to move the Land Cruiser forward, but only to realize that the Land Cruiser is also stuck. Now here comes double trouble. The only option left is for the Prado to crawl closer, an inch closer. With time and patience, the Prado slowly moves forward. After fighting for a while, the Prado gets out of the mud. Everyone is excited, but let me show you where the Prado was stuck. This is so slippery, this is so muddy. The grass makes it even worse. To make it worse, Grandpa says we have to go back the same way. Meanwhile, the cruiser is still stuck. So this is the time for the Prado to come around and pull the cruiser for the first time as well. The winch once again is called to work, and this made it with ease. Going back the same way needed momentum. The 4.5 leads the way. This time I had to make sure that I impress the Toyota Prado fans and makes it with ease. Once again we find ourselves into a deep swamp this time. This time the Prado is sitting down the swamp.
Come, Prado, come!
This turned out to be worse than the first time we got stuck. The only hope lies onto the 4.5 Land Cruiser. It has to pass through here in order for us to hook the winch onto it. So this is one chance and momentum is needed. Very impressive as the 4.5 does it again. This was the time again to hook up the Prado and pull it out of the mud. This time my foot needs to be very heavy on the paddle. This is the time to keep momentum once again. This is the time to make sure that we do not get stuck again. So the 4.5 needs to move out of the way. Uncle Clint needs to move out of the way as I prepare myself to try to face this small stream. Momentum is needed. Uncle Clint, as he runs out of the way, the Prado pulls with power. As we regroup, I have to lead the way as the navigator was sitting in my car. So this was the time again for me to lead the way with momentum and power. Ladies and gentlemen, this time I'm more mad at myself and I'm stepping on the Prado, really rolling and pushing it forward and keep on going. Everyone is getting exhausted with the experience that's going on so far, and this is the time to try to make sure the Prado has to pull out from here. This time the Toyota Prado is keeping the momentum very well. It's fighting, pushing, pulling, going forward, but without realizing how far the 4.5 has been left behind, and the worst nightmare happens.
Oh, we have to come back. We have to come back.
The 4.5's battery is completely dead, and the car cannot start. The Toyota Prado has fought so far. It has went further away from the 4.5, and it's very difficult because this is a point of no return. To make it even more worse, the Toyota Prado is also stuck into a deep channel that comes from the Zambezi River. The situation from here really gets critical as the two cars are separate far apart from each other, and I and Grandpa stand watching the Prado helpless. The only option left was one to run a kilometer to where the Toyota Prado was stuck, to remove a car battery and bring it back to the 4.5, install it and be able to restart the 4.5. Back again to the Toyota Prado. The only way to remove it from this stream was to unhook the trailer. So we are still stuck. The Prado is right there. Luckily, the 4.5 is still there, so we ran out of battery, but we managed to pull it out. So now the 4.5 needs to come fast here. Come with us! There we go. I enjoy it. Only now I came to understand why Grandpa is wearing soccer boots. If you didn't see that, check out the first episode. The next thing again was to call the winch to work. After hooking the winch, it was time again to press on the Prado to try to push it forward without a trailer. The next step is now for the Prado to pull the trailer out from the water. Everyone is soaked in water. No one cares about the mud and being dirty anymore. We receive a call that where we are going it's much worse than where we are coming from. And this was the time to call in the big boys. the tractor because it was getting late, making the situation even more worse. As the tractor drives ahead of us, it makes the mud more softer, causing us to get easily stuck. The alarm sounds are beeping everywhere in the Prado.
So it's what time, Grandpa? What's the time?
The time.
Yeah.
I don't have a watch. Let me check.
Check on your phone.
It's almost. Let me see. It's 1901.
1901. So it's 7 o'clock. We are still on our way going home. I'm telling you, the road, it's just messed up. We are the pathfinders and we found ourselves stuck in here. You can't see my grandfather there. He's there, he's waving. But if you see me, I'm so dirty. I'm so muddy. I'm so everything. But we're still going. We still have maybe how many Ks from here?
Here, it's 5.
5 Ks. Just
5
5 Ks to get home. But I'm
But
sure
within that 5K.
within that 5 Ks, we'll probably get there in an hour's
5
time.
hours.
No, 5 hours.
Just like a joke, as Grandpa said, it took us more than 5 hours to get where we were going, and the situation even kept on getting more and more worse.
The prop shaft has grass all over it. It is now stopping the car from moving smoothly. So we have to cut the grass off so that we can get moving again.
Oh,
If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to YC Test Drive
we have a
YouTube
tractor
channel.
there.
Dirty men over here. How we do?
That's how you get home. You will see how I look tomorrow.
Next time on YC Test Drive, I wake up in my village with red painted eyes.
Good morning, everyone. It's Cliff here again. So the following day, here we are, waking up in my village.
I show you the rivers around my village. And going back to town becomes more tough. Grandpa sings Let's Go song. See you next time on YC Test Drive.